All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive on something that I find pretty fascinating.
Okay.
It's this story about Vybz Kartel gifting his daughter Adiana a car.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not a typical, like, dad buys daughter a car.
Right.
This has a lot of interesting twists and turns to it.
I'm intrigued.
So we're talking about a 2025 mini SUV.
Wow, already.
And Adiana is only 17, so she can't even legally drive it yet.
Mm.
Oh, and also Vybz Kartel is currently incarcerated.
Okay, yeah, this is already
Like,
like...
when I saw this headline, I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, how is this even possible?
So we're looking at an article from Yard Hype, which is a Jamaican entertainment website.
Okay, so this is big news in the dancehall community.
Yeah, and I figured you'd be the perfect person to break this down with.
Certainly try my best.
So maybe first, just to set the stage for anyone who might not know,
Yeah.
Vybz Kartel is like a massive figure in dancehall music,
Absolutely.
known for his lyrical skills, and, a persona that's kind of always pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, he's definitely not afraid to be provocative.
Right, and so choosing a car from a future model year for a daughter who can't even drive it yet, I mean, that feels deliberate, right?
It feels very deliberate,
Yeah.
especially within dancehall culture.
Yeah,
There's a huge emphasis on status
yeah,
and pushing the limits.
right.
So what message do you think he's sending here?
Well, it kind of seems like he's saying, look, I can still provide for my family, even from behind bars.
Right.
But it's also a bit like, look at me, I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah, it's like he's still operating on a different level,
Totally.
even though he's incarcerated.
It feeds into that larger-than-life persona
Right.
that's so central to dancehall.
It's not just about the music. It's about the whole image,
Yeah,
the lifestyle, the whole package.
right.
And he's still playing the game masterfully.
And the article actually quotes his Instagram captions about this.
Oh, really?
In one, he calls Adiana his #1prinny,
Oh.
really emphasizing that special bond they have.
Which, yeah, adds another layer to this.
Yeah.
Because on the surface, you have this extravagant gift and, these boastful captions.
Uh-huh.
But underneath, there's a father trying to connect with his daughter, despite the physical barriers.
Yeah, so it's not just about the material thing, it's the message behind it. It's like he's saying, despite everything, my daughter is still my priority.
Right, and it makes you wonder about his motivations.
Yeah.
Is this just about showing off, or is there a deeper meaning here?
Well, and that brings us to another Instagram caption that the article mentions.
Okay.
Where Kartel talks about seeking purpose and abundance, even saying, hate won't get you far.
Oh, wow. That feels like a different tone.
Right. It's like a sharp turn from, look at this fancy car I bought.
Yeah, there's this interesting tension
Totally.
between the material excess and this kind of spiritual message.
Yeah, almost like he's trying to have it both ways.
Right.
Or maybe, and I'm just speculating here,
Yeah.
maybe it's an attempt to rebrand himself a little.
Oh, interesting.
He's been involved in some serious controversies.
Of course.
And maybe this is part of a bigger effort to show a different side.
It's like he's saying, hey, I'm still about success, but it's about more than just flashy possessions.
Which leads us to the big question, how much of this is genuine?
Right.
And how much is about crafting a specific image?
Especially when you consider his legal situation.
Yeah.
This gift could be seen as a way to maintain his influence and status even while he's incarcerated.
And how does that play into the overall narrative he's trying to create?
Exactly.
Is it about genuine personal growth, or is this a strategic move to win back public favor?
I mean, these are the questions that make this so much more
Right.
than just a celebrity buys a car story.
Yeah.
It really touches on these bigger themes of family,
Uh-huh.
image redemption, and the whole complex relationship between an artist and their audience.
We haven't even gotten into the reactions and the deeper cultural implications yet.
There's so much more to unpack.
Yeah. What are your initial thoughts on a father buying a car for a daughter who can't even legally drive?
Well, on the one hand, it does seem a bit extravagant.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there's something endearing about it.
Yeah.
A father wanting to provide for his child even from behind bars.
It's a sentiment a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah, it speaks to that universal desire to care for our loved ones, regardless of our circumstances.
And it adds another layer to how we understand Vybz Kartel.
Right.
Despite his reputation, he's also a father who clearly cares about his daughter.
It's a good reminder that even the most public figures have private lives and motivations that we may never fully understand.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes you think about how much we really know about anybody, right?
Right, exactly.
Even people who we think we know because they're so in the public eye.
And how do we deal with these complexities?
Right.
Like, as a listener, when you're following an artist, and then something like this comes up.
Yeah, how do you navigate that?
I mean, it's a constant balancing act,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
We can appreciate the art without condoning the actions, but sometimes it's hard.
Right.
It's okay to feel conflicted about it all.
Right.
I think it's just about recognizing the nuances
Yeah.
and thinking critically about things.
And the article mentions some of the reactions to this news.
Oh yeah, what are people saying?
Well, it seems like in the dancehall community, there are some fans who are praising Kartel for his generosity.
Okay.
That makes sense. But others are criticizing him for kind of flaunting his wealth.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's always been a tension within dancehall, right?
Uh-huh.
Celebrating success, but also questioning where it comes from.
Especially when it comes to material wealth.
Yeah, it's like it's built into the genre's DNA.
And with someone like Kartel, whose career has been both super successful, but also full of legal troubles,
Right.
those questions get even louder.
It's like that saying, more money, most problems.
Yeah.
The higher you climb, the more people are watching you.
So for those who see this car as a symbol of his power, it just reinforces his status as an icon.
Yeah, like he's untouchable.
But for those who are critical of his past, this might feel like a slap in the face.
Yeah, they might see it as like disregard for the law.
Right, and that's what makes the public perception so interesting. It's not just about what he intends, but how it's received.
Yeah, the meaning is really in the eye of the beholder.
And in dancehall, symbolism is everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
What are some other examples of that?
Yeah, you know, the flashy cars, the jewelry, the designer clothes.
Right.
It's not just about looking good. It's about projecting an image of success.
Yeah.
Like you've overcome hardship.
And in Kartel's case, buying a car that won't be driven for years.
A car from the future.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, I'm not just successful now, I'm going to be successful in the future.
Wow.
It's about legacy.
Like he's securing his place.
And it ties back to that Instagram caption.
About seeking purpose.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to redefine what that means in dancehall.
Right, because traditionally, abundance has been all about material wealth.
The bling showing off.
But here, it seems like he's adding another element.
Like there's more to it.
Yeah, it's not just about the money and possessions.
It's a shift, for sure.
It makes you wonder if he's trying to evolve the genre, or if it's just a marketing tactic.
Well, dancehall has been criticized for its focus on materialism.
And for how it portrays women sometimes.
Yeah, and Kartel has been at the center of a lot of that.
So trying to push a more purpose-driven message.
It's going to be met with skepticism.
Yeah, but you have to admire the audacity.
He's not shying away from his past.
He's trying to build something new.
It's like he's saying, I'm trying to be better.
Whether it's genuine or not, it's a powerful story.
It speaks to the idea of self-reinvention.
Especially in dancehall where image is everything.
Yeah, how much can someone change their narrative?
And how much are we as fans willing to accept it?
That's a big question, especially with someone like Vybz Kartel.
His career has been so full of contradictions.
But I think we have to remember that people are complicated.
Yeah.
We shouldn't dismiss growth or change just because of past mistakes.
It's about seeing the whole picture.
The good, the bad, the messy parts.
And ultimately, it's up to each of us to decide how we want to engage with that complexity.
This is really turning into a look at so much more than just this one event.
Yeah.
It's about cultural forces and personal motivations.
And how those shape our understanding of what we see.
It's like we started with buying a car, and now we're talking about everything.
It shows how something seemingly straightforward can be so loaded with meaning.
And raise so many questions.
Yeah, it's like we thought we were just talking about a car, and now we're like down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it all circles back to this question of like, how do we deal with these contradictions?
All right.
How do we understand someone who's, all about this extravagance, but also talking about spirituality,
Right.
projecting this image of power, but he's locked up.
And it's not just Vybz Kartel. I feel like this applies to so many public figures.
Well, absolutely.
We're constantly trying to figure out who these people are
Yeah.
based on these little glimpses we get into their lives.
And social media has just made it all so much more confusing.
Totally. It's like the lines are blurred between their real lives and their public image.
So how do we navigate that?
Yeah, like, do we hold public figures to a higher standard?
Do we expect them to be perfect?
Or do we accept that they're messy and human just like the rest of us?
It's a tough one.
no easy answers.
I think it starts with just being aware.
Yeah.
Like what we see is often just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. We might never fully understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, maybe that's okay.
Maybe it's more about asking the questions,
Yeah,
analyzing things, and recognizing that there are always going to be nuances.
that's where the real learning happens.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into, Vybz Kartel and this mini SUV and all the questions it's raised,
Yeah, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
what's the big takeaway?
I'd say next time you see a story about a public figure that makes you think twice, don't just take it at face value.
Yeah.
Dig a little deeper. Ask yourself, what's the context?
What's the bigger picture?
Exactly, because those are the questions that lead to the most interesting insights.
And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive.
Encouraging curiosity and critical thinking.
Getting below the surface and exploring those hidden depths.
Always more to discover.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.